In 2019, the Bank of Ghana revoked the licenses of 23 savings and loans and finance house companies which were insolvent. This was part of a move to clean up the country's banking sector and protect the investment of depositors. A receiver, Eric Nananipa, was subsequently appointed to verify and validate documents of affected customers of these collapsed institutions. Although payment of the locked-up funds have commenced, these affected customers say they are not satisfied with the pace of payment. At a news conference in Kumasi on Wednesday, Secretary of the group, Ezekiel Ano Akabo, warns members will advise themselves if government fails to address such concerns.
Inasmuch as we are thankful to the President, the government and its institutions and officials for heeding our plea to pay us fully of all our locked-up funds and ensuring that customers of First Allied, GN and UniCredit have started receiving their locked-up funds despite the court issues, we are still not happy at all about a number of issues pertaining to the payment procedure or formula being used in the payment of our monies to us. Some of the payment issues we are very much displeased with include the slow pace, in other words, the tortoise or snail pace in which the payments are being made, the use of text messages for the payments, and the 20,000 Ghana cedis capped payments for customers whose deposits exceed that 20,000 amount. If the President said he has directed the Ministry of Finance to work with the Bank of Ghana to ensure that we are treated like the customers of the 9 collapsed universal banks, then, in order to believe fully what the President said, we want the current payment procedure to be changed or revised in order to ensure the immediate retrieval of our locked-up funds. We don't want the situation whereby a customer has to wait till he or she receive a text message from the receiver before he or she can have the right to visit a nearby branch of CBG before he or she can have access to his or her locked-up funds, and in some cases, to only some part or portion of his or her locked-up funds. Here, we are referring to the capped amount of 20,000 Ghana cedis. By this, we want a consolidated savings and loans company or a consolidated microfinance company to be set up and all our accounts migrated and credited fully there. If only the current Banking and Specialized Depositors Act will permit that. And even if it does not permit that, we appeal that all our accounts are migrated to an existing universal bank or banks, possibly the Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG, because that is where currently all the payments of affected customers are being made through, and our accounts being credited fully over there, and maybe some restrictions about withdrawals attached to them for some time, until all the required bailout funds are secured by the government, whereby depositors can be rest assured of receiving the full payment of their locked-up funds as promised by the President in his Christmas and New Year's message to the nation. We want to see that this has been done for us latest by the end of January 2020. Failure to do this for us will compel us to advise ourselves.
The group called on the Council of State, Parliament and the country's religious leaders to intervene to enable its members retrieve their locked-up investments.
The government should be aware that the negative effects of this financial sector cleanup exercise have consumed almost all the benefits and good achievements of this government, such as the free SHS. Hence, the massive hardships being experienced by the majority of the citizenry. We therefore appeal to the government to expedite payments of these locked-up funds early enough to help in regaining these affinities back from these ardent members of it some time ago. We want to use this opportunity to call on the churches, corporate bodies and organizations who have their funds locked up with these collapsed savings and loans and finance house companies and the microfinance institutions to join us as we engage the government through every possible means and avenue in retrieving our locked-up funds. We also want to call on the directors and shareholders of the rural and community banks in the country to come out boldly on this issue because our checks indicate that the majority of the rural and community banks in the country also have their funds locked up in these collapsed financial institutions. Again, we want to call on the Council of State, Parliament, the former presidents, the National House of Chiefs, the National Peace Council, the Catholic Bishops' Council, the Christian Council, the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, the National Chief Imam and opinion leaders in the country to add their voice to the issues pertaining to our locked up funds in order to help us retrieve them from the government as soon as possible, since the effects of the non-payment of these monies are far-reaching and devastating, not for the affected customers alone, but the entire country as a whole.